Vox Box Star Wars Comic Book Podcast, Episode 14, Quarg. That's a fun name to say, isn't it? Quarg! Quarg! Quarg!
What is thy bidding, my master?
There is great disturbance in the force.
The Vox Box Star Wars Podcast, your source for Star Wars comics, news, and more. And now your host, Michael Corley.
Welcome back to Vox Box Star Wars Comic Book Podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in today. We are covering Star Wars number 14. It is titled The Sound of Armageddon. We open with Chewbacca. He is enraged. He thinks that Luke Skywalker has played a part in Han Solo's death, and he is willing to kill Luke Skywalker. Wonderful little narration panel. It says, "What do you call someone who fights an enraged Wookiee barehanded? Dead." And it says that is an old cantina joke. Outside, there is a massive battle going on. The speeders from Governor Quarg's people are fighting the Dragon Lords, riding the native creatures. One of Governor Quarg's people is telling him that they should escape, that they should run away, and he hits him, much in the same reaction as Governor Tarkin in A New Hope when he was told that there was a danger to the Death Star. Governor Quarg says that they are locked onto the biggest ship ever, and if they are able to pull it down, they can finally get off this planet. Back on Crimson Jack's ship, they are blaming Han Solo for causing this. While Han Solo certainly brought them here, he had no idea about the jammer that was meant to disrupt the ship. Jolie is talking about how her head has been filled with thoughts of things other than pirating. She is, of course, thinking about Han Solo. And is Han Solo dead? No! We see him on the back of a dragon, of a water dragon, and he has a breathing apparatus put on his face. He is laying on the back of the water dragon, and one of the Dragon Lords is leading the dragon on. We also see that Princess Leia is inside the Millennium Falcon. She's getting a gun. She has seen that they have been towing her ship to an unknown location. Now, when you have an enraged Wookiee, how do you stop it from killing you? Well, it's very simple. You get your droid C-3PO to kneel down in front of him, and when the Wookiee tries to come at you, he trips. Yeah, I don't know if that really makes sense or not, but sure, we'll go with it. It's comics. And while he's down on the ground, R2-D2 fires his extinguisher blast full in the face of Chewbacca. The lack of air temporarily blocking his mouth causes Chewbacca to fall unconscious. One of the pirates is looking into the ship, and he's saying that the master mechanic, who is Skywalker at this time, is needed. They have captured the Millennium Falcon. Governor Quarg is aware that Luke blasted one of his own speeders, and he's wondering why Luke isn't already hanging for the offense. Luke is telling him, "Hey, you fat-faced excuse for a leader. My friends were on that ship, and your skimmers gunned them down. Is it any wonder I blew it out of the water? I'm only sorry you weren't aboard." And that's when Governor Quarg reveals that they have Princess Leia prisoner. Next to Governor Quarg's boot, one of the little lizards that we saw in the last episode hanging near C-3PO is paying very close attention to what he's saying. Governor Quarg kicks the lizard off into the water. It swims and attaches itself to one of the huge sea dragons and is brought to the lair of the Dragon Lords, where Han Solo is talking to one of the leaders. The Dragon Lord is revealing that they don't rule the dragons. They coexist with them. They use the technology that they had as technicians to help communicate with the dragons so they could let them know what they wanted. And with the little lizards, they are the perfect spies because they are ignored for the most part on Quarg's ship. They decide that it is time to launch their final offensive. Even though some of their dragons may die, even though some of them will die, they must stop Quarg. If he gets a hold of the Imperial Star Destroyer, he'll be able to leave off planet and begin hurting more people. They ask Han Solo if he wants to come, and Han Solo is more than willing to, though he admits mainly because he wants to get back the Millennium Falcon. We see that the dragons are now attacking Governor Quarg's central ship, the giant ship that has been converting into a living space, and they are ripping it to shreds. Governor Quarg is yelling at Luke Skywalker, asking why he hasn't repaired the Millennium Falcon. Luke is checking in with C-3PO and R2-D2, and he says, "How does it look, 3PO? His honor is fussing worse than a Tusken Raider with a collapsed moisture collector." I think that's about as much Star Wars as you can cram into a single sentence. C-3PO is saying that they should have everything repaired as long as nothing unforeseen happens, and at that moment, a water dragon slams into the Millennium Falcon. That's when we see the rider of the dragon is a dragon lord who removes his mask to show that it's Han Solo. Luke is, of course, relieved. He thought Han Solo had been killed on the initial attack on the Millennium Falcon. Han is going to go guns a-blazing on the space wreckers. Luke freaks out and punches Han. Not because he hates Han, but because he doesn't want to mess things up, especially with Leia being captured. Now the ship is online and adding its power to Quarg's. They are able to put out a pulse, much like the sonic pulse that incapacitated Crimson Jack's ship. It is disorienting, perhaps even killing the water dragons. Governor Quarg is pushing Leia with him so that he can oversee the Sonic Jammer crew. Leia's had about enough of this. She says, now that you can't hurt Luke without spoiling your plans, I've had enough of this. She double fists Quarg in his fat stomach and runs for it. But before they can chase after him, a huge hairy fist punches through the wall. Chewbacca is conscious, and he is furious. Quarg leaves his men to be extremely beat up by Chewbacca while he goes after Princess Leia. We cut back to Luke and Han is saying, "What in the world are you doing, kid? I'm trying to save everybody." And that's when Luke explains. He says that it seems like the link-up aided Governor Quarg, but it also eliminates the jammer's effects on the Falcon. Your ship is now fully operational, including the gun system. We can blast Quarg's sonic jammer to atoms, save Leia, the dragons, and everyone else. That's why he was trying to stop Han from leaving before they could enact their plan. The only problem is they look outside to see that Princess Leia is heading out on one of the rickety old masts, trying to escape Governor Quarg. Governor Quarg must give his evil speech, and that means that it's time for
Dramatic Reenactment.
Nowhere left to run, girl. I'd have preferred to hang you, along with Skywalker and that Wookiee. Hangings are very good for the ship's discipline, you know. That's why I keep so many prisoners on hand. However, since you made this a personal attack upon me, it will be equally good for the rabble to see their illustrious leader can deal with it personally. Don't lose your balance yet, my dear. I'd like to do this gradually.
Once again, Tim, from the expanded Fandomverse, has reprised his role as Governor Quarg. He's from the Expanded Fandomverse podcast, the only Star Wars podcast that's about you, the Star Wars fan. You can find them at theexpandedfandomverse.com. I sure appreciate it, Tim. You did a great job. Luke does what any good hero does, and after making his way to a higher rigging, grabs one of the ropes, swings forward, and kicks Governor Quarg, who falls into the water. Just as Luke and Leia swing away to safety, the Millennium Falcon's guns smash the ship and the jammer forever. Everything is returning to a kind of normal. The Dragon Lords are thanking them for their assistance. Luke is very grateful that Chewbacca is no longer trying to kill him. Luke even says, "This is just like old times, right, Han?" But Han is looking off into the distance. It says he's staring at the sky, deep in thought, and about a great battle cruiser which may still be there, and its master, Crimson Jack. And the next issue is called Showdown. And that ends Star Wars number 14. I hope you liked this little pirate tale in the middle of space adventures. What a wonderful reading of Governor Quarg. If you would like to find out how to be a dramatic reader of yourself, go to voxboxpodcast.com and click on Dramatic Reading. You have a wonderful day, and may the Force be with you.
You failed, Your Highness. I am a Jedi, like my father before me.
So be it, Jedi.
Thank you for listening to the Vox Box Star Wars podcast. Go to voxboxpodcast.com to see panels from today's comic. Have a great day, and may the Force be with you.
All right. This is again Governor Quarg, this time from Star Wars number 14. Number 14.